What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ring the Bell Show. Chris C. Francisco, Jason Kenner here with you. Man, your Philadelphia Phillies 5 games ahead in the wild card spot as that top seed. Um, a weekend sweep of the New York Metropolitans. I don't care how bad they are. It's always fun to beat the Mets and to beat them well. So that's always a good thing. On Friday, the Phillies had a big win in dramatic fashion with that Alec Bohm walk off 5-4. Took care of business yesterday on a Zach Wheeler start, 7-5, and then this was supposed to be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank God they moved it to 6 o'clock and they were able to get that game in. Chris Sanchez on the back of Chris Sanchez, the Phillies win 5-2. Some good things to talk about this. And Jay, your opinion, your thoughts on this weekend series. Overall, what a great week. The Phillies take 2 or 3 against the Braves, and they come right back here and they take care of business and they sweep the New York Mets. Your feelings now heading into basically the last full week of baseball here, the regular season.
They definitely got to be optimistic, right?
Yeah.
While it wasn't pretty, as you mentioned, they may not look their best. They won and they did sweep. So it's really tough to say. It's tough to be anything but upset. Sweeping any 4-game series is tough enough. And then you go back, like you said, taking 2 or 3 from the Mets. They're playing good. Pitching, while it still is not great, it's starting to come through when they need to. And the bats are really coming through. Just they look really good. Casty's still on a heater. JT last 2 days has looked pretty well, starting to come around. You can't really complain. This is what we've been waiting for, right? I think you and John both said we're waiting for that 5, 6, 7-game win streak. Here we go with the Mets where we all expected them to win. This is what you want to see. And, end up especially this last homestand, ended up on a positive note.
So the great thing is, the Phillies ended last year with 87 wins. They're at 87 wins right now. So, and they're 8-2 in their last 10. The Phillies are on that heater. They've won 5 straight games now. I can't see that ending right away. They got a series coming up against Pittsburgh. This Phillies team, look, we projected them to win. I projected them to win 93 games this year. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. How many games are left? 7, 6.
Yeah.
So,
6.
I don't know if they're going to win 6 in a row to get to 93, but Jay,
90.
I was about to say,
no. I would think 91. You should break that 90 limit with the 2 teams you have left in the Mets and Pittsburgh. You should definitely get 91 wins.
I agree. So if the Phillies end up with 90, 91 wins, are you happy with that?
I can't be mad. It's more than last year. I think I projected him a little bit more. I think I was closer to like 95, 96 in the beginning of the season. But how they started out and looked so bad in the beginning of this season, if you'd have told me back then we'd be a 91 win baseball team, I'd be okay with it. And you're playing the beginning of September didn't look great. If you get hot, this is when you need to get hot, and that's what happened last year. So, if they can, like you said, if we could do 4-2 this last week, going to the playoffs, you have that home wild card series. I'm happy. I like where we're at right now, which I wasn't a week ago. A week ago, I thought the world was falling apart.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's the crazy thing about baseball. Sometimes it is really hard to live game to game, or they always say as a baseball fan, you got to live almost like month to month, but you just can't do that when you're a Phillies fan. Where if you were a Braves fan or like a Dodgers fan, I'd be like, sure, live month to month when it comes to your baseball team, but not with the Phillies. A couple things to touch on offensively for the Phils. Bryson Stott stole his 30th bag Sunday night. He's only the second Phillies second baseman since the 20th century began to have 30 steals in a season. Ed Delaney did it in 1888, Al Myers in 1890, Bill Holman in 1894. Juan Samuel did it 4 times right in a row, 84 through 87. And then Bryson Stott, 2023. It's insane when you think about that. He's only the fifth second baseman to ever do it. He's only the second in the last 2, since the 1800s to do it. And it's to me, it's like the quietest 30 bases. Like if you would have said to me right now, Bryson Stott has 30 bases, I would have been like, nah, really? Like that's a stat I didn't think of.
It's crazy because I just think that with I guess that what was it, a quarter of an inch? And the pitch clock, I think all of that combined with
Yeah.
how much base stealing up is this year, the Phillies could, are going to have two dudes that steal 30 bases. And it's like, nobody really cares because you have guys that could be stealing 70. We
Mm-hmm.
have multiple 50 stolen bases this year, guys.
Yep.
So it really seems whatever they did really pushed them up. And it's good to see because the Phillies have some guys, that JT could still potentially, probably not, but still get to 20. So it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
helping this team be able to play that small ball as well, which we haven't
Yeah.
seen in the last, years because of the way the game is
Years.
going.
Absolutely. And you mentioned his name in the beginning. Nick Castellanos, man. Like, I mean, you really can't swing much of a hotter bat over the last 2 weeks. Casty over his last 12 games has 7 home runs, 17 RBIs, and is hitting 350. His home run on Sunday
Mm.
hit his 29th home run. It matches the best home run stretch in his whole entire career. I mean, it's a pretty safe bet. He's gonna get the 30 home runs. Um, Jay, we've got Alec Boehm approaching 100 RBIs. Nick Castellanos is over his career high, already over his career high of RBIs. Kyle Schwarber's over 100. I'm sure if Bryce was able to be fully healthy the whole season and playing 150 games, he surely would have hit 100 RBIs. I'll tell you what, Jay, as much as we sometimes can criticize this team, to have 3 guys hitting over 100 RBIs in a lineup is pretty damn good.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah.
It's and to think, and just how bad Casty, I know is great first half, and right after All-Star game, he just tanked, and we thought shades of last year. It really looked like he kind of flipped it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bohm, who he was a guy I thought could hit 300 this year. I really thought if he could get to 90 home or 90 RBIs, I was ecstatic. So to see
Yeah.
him, potentially hit 100, man, this team's driving in runs as much as it's a beautiful thing to watch, and it's crazy to think that we could have 3. I don't even remember. Did any of those teams in the earlies
I
have 3
think they said
guys
it's the first time, did they say since 2005, maybe? Um, I'm gonna go
in
look at
baseball or for the Phillies?
for the Phillies.
Okay,
It's definitely happened in baseball, but let me look at the 2005 roster real quick.
I was about to say 'cause I thought the
Um,
Dodgers did it last year.
so yes, in 2005, the Phillies had 3. Utley with 105, Burrell with 117, and Abreu with 102.
Man.
So that was the last time I believe the Phillies had 3 guys over 100. Yeah, because I'm looking at it now.
And to think where
Howard
Turner could be,
150. I know what Turner could have been.
because he's at 76. So what he could have been had he actually hit the ball the first 4 months of the
Yep.
season.
Yep, you're right. God, going back. I mean, that 2007 team only had 2. Again,
I remember there was a year
2008 only 2.
There was a year Worth was close where I think they did play him the last game to I think get that 100th, and then he finished with 99. But I know it's been a while, but that just shows you how, man, these guys are driving in. It's so good to see. And to me, the Casty, after where he was last year, to finally see him, come in and
Yep.
be what we thought he was, I'm very thankful for. And really to see a guy like Bohm, really taking that next step in his game, I
Yeah.
think is very huge. And something the Phillies are probably, I think we've said it a few times already, Phillies might want to try to lock this kid up, a little bit sooner because his bat really starts to seem to turn in to what they think it was going to. Man, you don't want to let this kid hit free agency.
No, I agree. I think you and I talked about this like 2 months ago, where this is an off season where you have to lock him up, and probably Bryson Stott, like give them pay raises and lock them up for a while. Again, these kids aren't 22, 23. So
No,
they're in their mid to late 20s. So these are guys that you want during their prime to stay around for a while. I mean, so let me ask you, who are you more happy with? The progression of what Alec Boehm brought you this season, or the rebound from Nick Castellanos?
I thought Casty would be more important to this team, so seeing him rebound is huge. But I
Mhm.
just think seeing us being able to bring up, I have something to say to bring up your own guys, and it's nice to
Yeah,
see. To me, I'm going to throw Stott in with it
for
to see
sure.
them be able to come up and actually we're able to bring our own guys up and have them play and not have to go by everybody like typical. It is
Mhm.
very nice to see because it's able to get you to be able to spend a little bit. And, all the rumors, whether it's true or not, about going after Trout next offseason, having your own guys come up and be able to save some money on them. And if we can pay them early and save some money, it's so advantageous. So to me, it's really Bohm and just seeing him progress. And I would even
Mhm.
throw Stott in there with it just because I like our own homegrown guys.
I agree. I firmly agree with that. I mean, just looking at Castellanos though, 80 runs this year, 170 hits, 29 home runs, 106 RBIs, hitting 276. His OPS is about to touch 800, which is right along with his career averages. So, for, just a huge, huge. I mean, I would even consider Castellanos in Major League Baseball as being one of the comeback players of the year. I really would, with how well he's
After what he
done.
did last season, yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely a turnaround. I didn't
Mhm.
even think I knew he could do this, but I don't even think after last season I expected him to put these kind of numbers up.
I think we both said like maybe 25 and 85, right? For
I'd be
280, we
happy
were
with that,
hoping
yeah.
for. I mean, we got more than that. I mean, we're going to get over 30 home runs. We might touch 110 RBIs. Just absolutely incredible what this team has been able to accomplish. So, going back now with what's left, the Marlins and the Cubs both won earlier Sunday afternoon. So the Phillies weren't able to clinch their second consecutive playoff berth. They did, however, lower their magic number to 1. So that is the club's magic number to clinch the top wild card spot in the National League. Um, so that's pretty great to know. I mean, they had a great start today, I thought, from Christopher Sanchez, and a 4-run fourth inning. They secured that 4-game sweep of the Mets today, man, at 87 wins, which, like I said, tying them from a year ago. Sanchez looks really good, man. He pitched 7. What is it? He pitched 7 innings, right? I have it right in front of me.
7 innings, 10 Ks.
That's right. Yeah, 7 innings, only 2 runs. He tied a season and career high with 10 strikeouts. He walked one guy. He started the game with 12 straight outs and went 4 2/3 of no hit innings. And I'll tell you what, he mixed and matched incredibly well tonight. He threw 40 changeups, 45 sinkers, and had a total of 20 swings and misses, which 16 of which came against his changeup. So I'll tell you what, man, this kid has the ability, I think, to be a really good 4, maybe even like a 3 or a 4 as time goes on. Are you liking what you've seen this season out of Christopher Sanchez? Is he somebody you'd want to see as a pretty good focal point going into next season?
I definitely think he's shown he should be on the rotation. Um, Clowns. But he's definitely impressed me. I've liked to see his growth has really impressed me. He's definitely put together some good outings. You'd like to see a little more consistency. There are times where he'll go, give you that a game like today and then go and give up 5. But
Mhm.
I like he definitely has been eating up innings the later in the season. They're able to throw him more. So I definitely think he's a piece that you can focus on next year. You don't have to. You do have some back end guys in this rotation. You can go spend some money on some big dogs, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be good. The I was worried for a little bit about this Phillies offense today. After having just 1 hit through those 3 innings, they had 3 hits in the fourth inning alone. One was a 2-run single by JT. Bryce had the walk, and then Bryson Stott singled. Um, and then Stott stole second base at Real Muto, and then Real Muto, of course, hits I would say I get a weak liner. I don't want to call it weak, but a weak liner at the left field, scoring both guys. And then the next batter, Castellanos, unloads it to extend the Phillies' lead to 4. I feel like the fourth inning is like the magic number for the Phillies. It's either like that's the inning when the starter starts to lose it, and it's usually the inning when the Phillies start to kind of get their bats alive. So that fourth inning this year has been. I would
The
love
problem is
to break down those
they're
numbers.
usually giving up a first inning run. So the problem is you're always doing it from
Yeah,
behind.
doing
It's
it
not
from
like they already
behind.
have 2 or 3 runs up at that point.
You're right. You're right. So yeah, as we said at the beginning of the show, if you guys are just joining us now, we are doing the post game show, but our normal Sunday evening stream as well. You can find us on our Facebook pages. You can find us on YouTube at Ring the Bell 856. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, share with your friends and your family. So yeah, if you guys didn't hear us in the beginning, Castellanos came into tonight riding a huge hot streak over his last 15 games. When he was moved down the lineup dating back to September 9th after struggling for a lot of the second half of the season. So, since in those 15 games going on the lineup, his slash line is 339, 377, 750 with 6 home runs. And again, his home run tonight is his 7th in his last 12 games. And he's just one away from that big number 30. Harper added another RBI with a single, scoring Trey Turner after he doubled. And then New York got on the board with a 2-run homer off of Sanchez, but that was really it. But a really cool moment in the game, something that Jason brought up right before we hit record here. 22-year-old right-hander Orion Kerkering making his major league debut. The 2022 fifth-round pick worked a magical 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. His fastball reached over 100. A slider that he threw 10 times, picking up both of his punch outs. That pitch, that
It was
slider
filthy. When he got that
is
third out,
filth. Yeah,
the dude, he was expecting that, and he just that thing, dude, kid, little bit of Wagner slider fastball.
that slider reminded me a little bit of I don't want to say it, but Randy Johnson-esque.
It
I
was,
mean,
dude, it's got some bite to it.
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
got some bite to
it's
it. I
got
was shocked.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see where he moves on. And then Rob Thompson played with fate and put
Oh,
Michael
I saw
Lorenzen
that.
in the 9th.
I rolled my eyes as soon as I saw
But
that one.
it was a very clean 9th inning. Thank heavens. And
Question for
Lorenzen
you,
earns
though.
a save. Go.
Do you think if he comes out over these next 6 games with the way this bullpen's looked, will they put him on that playoff roster? Because they don't have a lot of dudes. He looked like he has out stuff. And I think can he make this playoff roster?
So that's something I've been trying to look for as we've been doing this show. I'm trying to find if he's going to be able to be on the roster for the
Even
playoffs, because
eligible?
yeah, that's the thing. Like, is he even eligible to come on the roster? So I gotta find that out. But you are right. I mean, that's somebody with the way these arms have been pitching. I can't see if he's at all able to be on that roster, Jay. Like, don't you want to
He's an
come?
8th inning guy. He's
Yeah.
a shutdown with that stuff. That slider is it's got bite, and if he's hitting 100, I want him at the back of that bullpen instead. I get it, but Kimbrel hasn't looked great. You don't know you're getting with Dominguez.
No, yeah.
If you can get Alvarado, if he can stay looking consistent, man, you got those 2 guys in the back of that bullpen. That's scary.
I agree. I agree. So yeah, I'm trying to find if this kid can be. He made his major league debut. Yeah, I don't see anything here. Yeah, I don't see it. But yeah, so the Phillies are off on Monday before kicking off the final week of the regular season. They host the Pirates for a 3-game set before going back up to wrap up the season against the Mets one last time. The pitching here for the Pirates is Nola, Suarez, and Wheeler. I'd say this every fifth day. I'd really like for Aaron Nola to finish the season on a strong point before we go into the playoffs, because if not, then I am going to be terrified of what's to come with the playoffs. So I think to me, Jay, the most important thing to me going into this week is, can we get a really good start out of Aaron Nola? Is that too much to ask for?
I'd like, because he's supposed to pitch twice.
Yeah.
So I would really like to see his first one. And I really want to see him pitch once, because I do think if they lock it up, you have to start working your playoff roster. That's why I think winning this win streak was very important. But I would like to see his next start. I'd like him to figure it out. I want to see 7 innings, 1 run, because I don't want him pitching that last game of the year, because I want to have the rotation set up. So I think it is important this team clinches quick, but I'd like to see Nola look good going into his last start before the playoffs. You don't want to see him throw a stinker, because you're not going to have confidence going to the playoffs. You see him because he's been up and down, and this is his worst season.
So I agree. He is able to be on that playoff roster.
Was he? Because it said like 40. I think he had to be on the 60 or the 40 man before August 31st, but I don't know if he was or not.
So Kerkering got promoted now because the Phillies believe their number 7 prospect can help them in the postseason as a right-handed reliever. So I'm trying to see what that even.
They said as long as he's on
so
the
here,
40
yes,
day
Kerkering
roster.
is eligible for the postseason because he was in the organization before August 31st.
Okay.
However, he wasn't on the 40-man roster before that date, which means he would make the postseason roster only as a replacement for a rostered player who suffers an injury. So, for example, if the Phillies want Kerkering on the National League wildcard roster, he could make the team if a Rhys Hoskins gets put on that 60-day DL. So it's almost a certainty,
they said
though.
Can petition too, though. They could petition baseball to have him on.
Yeah,
is what I read. So they could try. I don't know.
After seeing what I saw tonight, please send as many petitions as humanly possible to get him on that. So, such a cool story. And you talk about, he's the pure definition of a live arm. So the dude can just throw out, just flat out throw a baseball.
He was working. He just went.
I know.
Got that ball and threw.
I know. We're going to take a quick pause for the calls. When we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit preview this week and just give out a couple game balls here for the weekend. But until then, it's really time to just feel your best. September is here, and I want to take a second to talk about self-care. When it comes to making an impression, proper grooming is essential to looking and feeling your best when you walk into a room. That's why the sponsors of today's show and every show is Manscaped. They are committed to helping men around the world walk and talk with some swagger this season with the best grooming tools on the market. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and enjoy this offer. 20% off with free shipping with the code baseball20 at manscaped.com. Do not neglect your beautiful self and get right this September with Manscaped. For the sleekest version of yourself, Manscaped has you covered from head to toe, starting with the brand new beard hedge trimmer. With 1 guard and 20 adjustable lengths, this device is the perfect travel companion fit to take care of your mane wherever you go. Next in line, who could forget about their signature Performance Package 4.0? Included in this ultimate grooming bundle is the star of the show, the Lawnmower 4.0, equipped with skin-safe technology to minimize nicks and cuts in all your sensitive areas. Also included is their Crop Preserver groin deodorant and Crop Reviver groin spray. I could tell you from experience, this has taken my confidence in the boudoir to a whole new level. You want something you don't mind showing that special someone in your life? Look no further than Manscaped's 2.0 boxers. These are, without a doubt, the best boxers for men of all ages. I can confidently say I'll never go back to cotton boxer briefs after wearing these. Once again, Manscaped supports the Ring the Bell show so much that they provided an exclusive offer for our listeners. 20% off plus free shipping with our code baseball20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use our code baseball20. Feel like yourself again and take charge of your life with Manscaped. All right, we are back to wrap up the show here. Oh boy. Well, you can always use the code baseball20 to help that out.
It's not funny.
So, well, I guess cats can't say no, Anthony.
They scratch though. They scratch.
That could be. Some people like that in this world. I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying some people do. All right. So for this week, man, who you giving a game ball out to?
Can you give it to anybody besides Nick? And Nick's got to be the guy. He had such a massive week: 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, 2 walks, 375, 407, slugged 1.125. That's
Mhm.
Nick had himself a week. I wanted to give it to Harper because he played so bad, and I'd like to see him coming up, but Casty
Mhm.
just had a dominant week.
Yeah, the only other guy that comes close is Bohm. I mean, Bohm is the only guy that comes close there. He had that huge walk-off win, that walk-off single in the 10th inning on Friday. But yeah, I think you got to give it to Casty because the dude's just swinging a hot bat. Um, I will say though, I mean, something we haven't talked about, that double by Turner today, that snapped an 0 for 20 streak. I mean, he's not been hitting the ball. So again, I don't think look, I that's not something that worries me at all. If this was 3 months ago, I'd say great. This is going to be another one of those, you know, 3-4 weeks where we gotta now have to stop worrying about or start worrying about Trey Turner's bat going silent. I don't believe that's going to happen. So I think he's going to get right, and that double today was a big deal. So, do you have any
Especially
worries at all about that?
No, he was so hot. For the last 30 days, he's still batting like 306. So,
Yeah,
like, I
yeah,
get. So he was just on such a he's been on such a torrid pace since that,
hmm
since that standing ovation. At some point he had to cool off some, but no, it's this dude. We said that's when we signed him. He's a professional hitter. The dude's he's fine. He's looked like ever since then he snapped out of. He's feeling it. I have no worries about Trey going in the playoffs.
I agree. And it's so look, as much as we rail on Aaron Nola, he gets a chance to help the Phillies clinch a playoff berth tomorrow on Tuesday. So that'll be really cool to see if Aaron Nola can have a really good start and help the Phillies
Especially
clinch a
after doing it
playoff spurt.
last year too. He's
Yeah,
the
I know.
reason they clinched last year. You get him out here, you get that confidence up. I think
hmm
this is a big start. If he looks good, I'm happy going into the playoffs.
I agree with you. Yeah, no, big time. So that's just something to look forward to on Tuesday. Is look, here's a really good chance for you, Aaron Nola, to come out here and clinch a playoff spot, help this team clinch a playoff spot. So we'll see how it goes. Jay, as we get in the last week of the season, how would you grade the Phillies in the regular season of 2023? You talk about a roller coaster of emotions this season.
Man,
I
it's
mean,
like, so when you look at the numbers and you see all the top 10 stuff, you're like, man, but just the eye test.
yeah,
To me, right now, this season, they still didn't meet the expectations I had. I would
yeah,
say, for the season, I think I'm not happy with how they finished. I didn't like the playoffs. I think they should have they should have like 7 or 8 more wins. So I would say a C minus.
mhm,
They should, but you give them some stuff after that losing streak. They left a lot on the table and a lot to be desired, I think, this
yeah,
year. And some of it could have been with Bryce being hurt, but they did leave a lot, especially early in the season. They left a lot on the table, I feel like.
yeah. I agree. So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it a hard B. I mean, like I'm pushing a B plus, because
Really?
look, I mean, because look, that offense has been so good this season. I mean, you have three guys hitting 100 RBIs, one guy pushing 50 home runs. You have two other guys that are hitting 30 home runs, basically. I really liked what they got out of Christopher Sanchez. I thought Wheeler was good, not good enough. Nola was the worst part of the season, I thought, because it's a
Yeah,
contract year. Regardless of what I think of Aaron Nola on a contract year, I
I
would have
expect
thought
it.
the guy would have came out and pitched his ass off. But he just, I mean, I think this was his worst season that I've seen him pitch.
I would agree with that. And
Yeah,
listen, I picked him I legit thought I bought 100% into the,
yeah.
free agent this season. He's going to blow up.
hmm
And you're right. He is. It took me to this season to jump on the Dean train with him. No, no, I'm not around Nola now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I regardless of anything else that happened, Taijuan Walker is 15-5. So they can't
Regardless,
I can't hate that
aren't
necessarily. I mean,
aren't you the one to tell me wins don't matter in baseball
no,
anymore?
they don't, but they are. like 21-7 when his starts. So I mean,
Yeah,
he does
but he
enough
also
to
has a 5 ERA. Like, I can't
4.35.
buy into the fact that I don't care what they are in his starts. Jamie Moore, if they did that for Nola or Wheeler, they'd have, you know how many Cy Youngs we'd have if we did that for our good pitchers? We play beautifully for the guys that give up 8 runs a game.
Yeah.
Do it for the guys that deserve it too. That
I mean,
bothers me. It always
he does
has.
have a lower ERA than Aaron Nola, but
Aaron Nola sucks.
I actually am very pleased with what Ranger Suarez gave us this year. He has an ERA of 3.89, so his ERA is under 4. I think if he wasn't hurt for a little bit in the beginning, he could have been maybe around 3.5.
I
So
expected a little more from him too.
okay.
I expected a low 3, a high 2s from him. With the way he's looked over his career, I expected him, to really. I thought he was going to solidify himself as the 3, and T1 would be the 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
He still might be. I think he still might be that 3 guy for this team, especially when the playoffs come around. He might be that game 3 starter to get a lefty start for the Phils. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But how excited are you, man? 1 to 10 for the postseason to be starting in just a couple weeks here.
Oh, it's got to be a 10, right? Because I
For
do
sure.
think we're better than Arizona.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't want to look too far ahead because you never want to. But
Yeah.
should we beat Arizona? Yes.
Yeah.
I really want that matchup again. I know the Braves 100% want it. But I do think that series against Atlanta, I think, is going to be on a lot of people's mind. I hope the Phillies don't look past whoever it is they play. I hope they're not looking at Atlanta because of all of that. But I think I'm so ready to see that series.
Yeah, me too. I know John will root for the Braves to win because he's not a real Phillies fan. Dean, I'm sure Dean doesn't really get a say because he projected the Phillies to miss the playoffs. So we'll see what he does there. I have to ride with the Phillies until the end because I picked the Phillies to win the World Series. So I'm gonna stick to that, and we'll see how it goes. It looks like Arizona will be the team that they're going to face in the wild card series. I'm just looking forward to getting to that. So we'll be back here. I guess we'll be back here Thursday night since the Phillies. Sorry, so we'll be back here Thursday night, everybody, post game, and then we'll see everybody on Sunday for the last regular season game. So it'll be perfect setup. Hopefully, we know who the Phillies will be facing by then in the first round of the playoffs. So looking forward to.
They probably will. It's the last regular season game of the season.
Well, I mean, I don't know what time Arizona plays that day. Maybe we won't know
They all play the same time on the final Sunday, don't they?
I don't think so. There's no 4:00 games.
I always thought they put everybody. No, you may be right. I could be wrong. I forgot. I was thinking everybody's gonna play at 1:00 around the world.
Yeah, I mean, you.
Nope. I forgot. California might be 3 hours behind us.
Yeah,
so is Arizona.
It's all right. All good, man. No big deal. I could be wrong, but
it's live on air, so I can't take it back either.
It's fine.
Terrible.
It's okay. All right, everybody. Follow us on the socials at Ring the Bell 856 everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It means a lot. Thank you very much. So again, we'll be back here Thursday night. Hopefully after a series sweep to get the Phillies to 90 wins on the season against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So for Jason Kent, I'm Christy Francesco, and we'll catch you guys down the road and check you guys out Thursday night. And as always, go Phils.